This episode is going to be about a few gangs and what many people call the all-Crip city. The city I'm talking about is Long Beach. Long Beach has many gangs, from the west side, the east side, and the north side. One of the most famous gangs in the city of Long Beach are the Rolling 20 Crips, which are from the east side of Long Beach. The Rolling 20 Crips became known worldwide for being the area that rappers like Goldilocks from the east side of the group came from. Also one of the important voices of the West Coast, Nate Dogg. And the most famous of all, Snoop. The Rolling 20 Crips have been around for many decades and have played a major part of Long Beach and also in the beef in the city. The Rolling 20 Crips' main rival became the Insane Crips, who they once had a super close relationship with. Outside of being Crips, they're known to wear black and yellow, and anything Pittsburgh Steelers is associated with them in Long Beach. The Insane Crips are also well known in the streets, also on rap. Well-known Insane rappers would be OG Insane member Trey D, who was also in the East Siders despite being with two rappers from the rival gang, the Rolling 20 Crips, and Snoop Dogg and Goldilocks. New generation is headlined by rappers like Savvy Third and DW Flame. The Insane Crips have also been around many decades, with also being located on the east side of Long Beach. They have been bumping heads with once allies, the Rolling 20s, for at least the last 3 to 4 decades. That has always put those two gangs in a weird situation because many members from the past to current have close family members on the other side. Long Beach has plenty of other Crip gangs, and some of them being different ethnic groups like Asians and Samoans. Some of the Crip gangs include the Asian Boys, TRG, Sons of Samoa, and many more black gangs like the Break Boys, the Rolling 80s, and the 19th Streets. And also many more Crip gangs of every race. There's also plenty of Serrano gangs. I'll get into those probably in a future episode. 20s and the Insanes are still locked into beef today. I'm going to detail some cases from the 90s to about 2009 to show how deep this goes. First case I'm going to get into is about Insane Crip member Jomo Bland. March 6, 1999, Kenneth Wilson, aka Kibo, a member of the Rolling 20 Crips, was driving with Skylar Morgan and Leon Simon. Kenneth Wilson would tell Leon and Skylar he saw someone he knew. Wilson turned the car around and drove to where Bland and another man were standing. The other man was Patrick LeBeau. LeBeau would pull out a gun, and Bland would ask Kenneth Wilson if he was Kibo. Kenneth would say yeah, and LeBeau put the gun away. LeBeau would tell Kenneth that he and Bland were from Insane Crip. Kenneth would tell the two that Leon and Skylar were not gangbangers. Bland would tell Kenneth to get off the car. Kenneth denied the offer and said he would drop off Leon and Skylar first, then he would return to talk. As he turned his car around to leave, Bland would ask Kenneth, "So you Kibo from 20s?" and started shooting into the car. Kenneth would drive away. As he did, both men would shoot up his car more. Kenneth would end up crashing into a pole. Kenneth Wilson would lose his life. Leon Simon was shot in the liver, and Skylar Morgan shot in the shoulder, but both would survive. Leon Smith and Skylar Morgan would both testify in court. They would say Bland would shoot first, but Bland would say LeBeau was first to shoot, and he only shot because his friend did. Jomo Bland will receive 25 to life, and Patrick LeBeau will receive 90 years to life. The next 3 cases are all incidents that happened in a 2-month span in 2005. On May 14, 2005, Maurice Brown and his fiancée, Hednifa Gibson, and his brother Danny Brown will go to a bar in Long Beach. They would have a few drinks, then notice the atmosphere. The bar was full of Insane Crips and decorated in black and gray colors associated with the Insanes. Maurice and Danny Brown, members of the Rolling 20 Crips, would decide to leave being uncomfortable. They would walk to the parking lot of the bar and get into their car. Maurice waited for his niece who was going with them to another bar. Danny would notice a man with a weapon. He would say all he could remember is hitting the pole with the car. Maurice would lose his life with shots to the head and the chest. Danny would be shot 6 times also. Maurice and Danny's niece would testify in court. She said she saw a man she known from school named Farrah Garnett, aka Lil Crab, from Insane Crip shoot out the car. At the time, she was talking to LaToya Berger, a family friend. She would also testify and say another man named Cocktail was with Garnett during the shooting. She would pick both out of a lineup. Garnett would receive 135 years to life. Also in May 2005, members of Rolling 20 Crips were put in work as well. Ronald Walker was a member of the Insane Crips. He knew Derek Brown and David Harvey since they were in elementary. Both would become from the enemy gang though, the Rolling 20 Crips. Once gangbanging started in their lives, they had on-site altercations. A week before May 17th, the day of the crime, Ronald Walker was walking up the stairs of his friend's apartment, where he seen Derek Brown sitting on the stairs with a girl. Derek Brown refused to move to let Ronald through, making it a conflict. On May 17th, 2005, Ronald Walker was walking home from work when he seen David Harvey sitting in a burgundy car, alone near his apartment. David would drive off, and Walker went into the house. Ronald would later go outside in his apartment's driveway and shoot dice with other Insane members, his cousin Tyrone Hawkins and Desmond Carson. Ronald would notice the burgundy car. David Harvey was driving again with 3 other men in it, including Derek Brown. David Harvey would exit the car and walk toward the driveway where the Insanes were. Seconds later, Derek Brown and the other 2 men with Harvey would appear and begin firing at the Insanes. The 3 Insanes would run. Carson would jump over a fence and got away. Walker and Hawkins ran, and Derek Brown chased after them. Ronald would run past the bus and fell down after being shot. People on the bus would get a police descriptions and accounts of what happened. Derek Brown wouldn't get away. He would be detained by citizens until the police came. Derek would admit to police he chased and emptied the clip on Ronald and that he only shot at him and nobody else. He would also say he only did the shooting because Ronald had been threatening him and challenging him to fight. He just wanted to get it over with before he got. At trial, Ronald Walker would say Derek Brown was not the shooter. Desmond Carson would pick Derek out of a lineup and say he was the shooter, but later recanted his statement. Daniel Chavez would testify. He would say Derek Brown was the shooter. He was a neighbor in the apartments and seen him chasing Ronald. Derek Brown was sentenced to 46 years to life. Akami Moody dropped her boyfriend Edward Spears Jr. and his friend John off in front of her house as she drove around the block looking for a parking spot. Smith and John were both members of the Rolling 20 Crips. They sat near her car and waited for her return. Lionel Jacobs and another man walked past Edward and John. Lionel looked back and tapped the other man on the shoulder. Edward would notice this and would start to run. He would hear up to 7 shots. Edward's girlfriend would hear the shots and hide. At the hospital, Edward would tell the police the shooter's name, what he looked like, and say he was from Insane Crip. His girlfriend would also pick Lionel out of a lineup. She would receive phone calls before trial, making sure she wouldn't say anything. They would tell her that she better keep her mouth shut and she better be careful. Edward at trial would recount what he said. He said he only said it was Lionel because he felt forced by the police. Even with both Edward and his girlfriend taking back statements, Lionel Jacobs would receive 25 years to life. Last 2 cases are tied together in a string of events and revenge. It started first when an Insane member took out a Rolling 20 Crip. On January 29th, 2009, Duncan Baptiste was shot outside his home. He was shot in his neck and chest. He would lose his life after fighting 2 months in the hospital. Daniel Falk would testify. He was on his friend's balcony when he seen a man enter a walkway and heard shouting, then shooting, and Kai Edwards running away. The police arrived in the area and seen 2 men running and taking off their clothes like they were trying to change their appearance. The men would run and split up, but both men would get caught shortly. The other man was Trayvon Tuller. He didn't have anything to do with the crime. Daniel Falk would not identify him at the scene, only Kai Edwards. While in custody, Kai Edwards would have a convo on the phone with another Insane Crip member, where he admitted to the shooting, and they will talk about how it happened. In court, Daniel Falk will point out Kai Edwards wearing the same shoes in the shooting that police showed him wearing in photographs. Off Daniel Falk's testimony and Kai Edwards' phone call, police had enough evidence. Kai Edwards will be sentenced to 50 years to life. The last case in this episode, the Rolling 20s got their revenge 2 days later. January 31st, 2009. Ezra David was shot 2 times near his home in Long Beach. 2 people were outside at the time. They would hear gunshots and see a man wearing a white t-shirt and jeans with braids running away. Shanice Armstrong will look out the window and see a man running with the same description get into a red car and drive away. A woman named Amelia will also see the same thing as she sat in her garage. Her nephew would say the car had a DMV permit. He believed the car to be an Acura. The car would be identified to Lewis White's girlfriend. Police would put surveillance on the car and seen him driving it around. Amelia and Shanice would identify Lewis as the shooter in the lineup. At trial, police would present evidence that Eric Baptiste was shot by the insane Crips 2 days earlier, and that Eric was a member of the Rolling 20 Crips, and that Lewis was getting revenge for a friend and fellow member. Lewis White would receive 80 years to life. This will conclude this episode. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and I'm going to keep dropping episodes every week. If you want more content, like and comment, and let me know what you want to see next in future episodes.